Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Roundtable Resellers Roundtable, Episode 6. I'm Scott.
I'm Alton.
I'm Brian.
I'm Kevin.
And Andy.
And Andy.
We got it. We got it.
I was going clockwise.
This week we are discussing some of the best tips and tricks of new resellers. We found a lot of new resellers joining our group, and we wanted to touch on some tips and tricks that each of us have to help you in this time. And eBay can be monstrous. What would you say? A big behemoth website, and to simplify it and maybe to maybe give you some insight and some tricks, we thought we'd talk about a couple topics tonight. And Alton, you want to go over the topics that we were going to discuss?
Yeah, so we had maybe 3 areas. I think probably with Scott and Kevin might come up with some more. But some of the basic ones are just when you're searching for an item or you're trying to source that item, how to properly look at it where you're looking for solds, right? Sold and completed items that give you the best comparison for value that you're actually looking to resell. Now, most people forget that. And when they source an item, guess what they do? They just put it in. They see, oh, well, someone's got it listed for 45 and I can buy it for 5. That's a problem. And then that's not really necessarily the best thing when it's selling at 20. So we got to help you find the best sources and what works for you. I think Andy's going to help us with the importance of keywords. So once you find those items, how to properly get them listed with keywords to make sure they're getting indexed. And he's also going to need him to cover what indexing is when it comes to the eBay platform. So we need to understand that a little bit more. And then Brian, something he's in our group, he's very big on is consistency, accountability, and forming that habit, right? So we got to have a consistent thing to hit that eBay algorithm. So yeah, we can kick it off from there.
Awesome. Brian, do you want to go first?
Sure. All right. Well, that was a great intro from Alton.
Well, thank you.
Well, when it comes to eBay, different platforms have different ways of operating. Like Amazon is definitely different than eBay. Poshmark, you're going to have to share a lot. But eBay's algorithm is built on listing consistently, and not even just listing, but other activities being done consistently. So when you think about being successful as a reseller, I think that is the single most important thing you can do is be consistent. Whether that's when you're going sourcing, you don't want to go just when you feel like it. You need to develop a plan. Like Scott, we were talking beforehand, like he has 2 days a week that he goes sourcing, and I'm similar. Every day you need to develop habits where you're not having to think from day to day, what do I need to do? That's not a good way to optimize the business. So if you're brand new and you're just starting reselling, it's okay, right? You don't want to overwhelm yourself. You want to start to develop these habits. And I think the most important habits are sourcing, right? You got to figure out places you can source consistently, whether that's a thrift store route, whether you're, going to a flea market, you're going to garage sales, estate sales, however you're sourcing, you've got to figure that out. What are the best places? You got to think about traffic, time of the week, etc. Then you also need to ship, depending on your shipping schedule. Like I ship same day. So that's the first thing I do. And I guess maybe this will be a better way to explain it, is to look at it through my eyes. Like every day, Monday through Friday is pretty much the same. I get up, I go to my storage units, I pull my inventory that I'm shipping for that day. I come back, I have my coffee, I sit down. I'm in Daily Refinements group with Chris and Tech and Sports. We have the 8 a.m. morning call in my time zone, which I attend that. And then I open up eBay. I create a new coupon every day to send out to so people can buy and get a discount to encourage them to shop in my store. I check all my messages every day from before I do my shipping, because what if somebody wants to combine? What if somebody wants to cancel? I then send offers to likers in the morning. At that point, I'm then typically writing. Well, no, actually, even before that, I then rework 5 or 6 of my oldest listings, because if you look at your oldest listings and they haven't sold, there's probably something wrong with them, whether it's pricing, title, etc. So I fix that. Then I go into my shipping. I'm usually shipping during the morning call, and however long that takes. After that's over, I then go into listing, and listing takes up my afternoon. And I don't even I'm at the point where I don't even have to think about what I'm going to do. It's the same day after day. And then each week I try to add one more listing. Like I started at 20 listings per day, and I'm up to 28 listings per day. Next week I'll be at 29. So I'm just ingraining that habit, because the more you list, the more traffic you get, the more sales you get. And if you're brand new, you don't think in those terms, but just think about, what is my schedule going to look like? Am I going to treat it like a job, like somebody was hiring me? I know a lot of people will say, hey, I want to go into business for myself because I want that freedom. But that freedom is a dual-edged sword. If you're not careful, that freedom will have you on the couch watching TV, eating some potato chips, and you're not going to get any sales like that. So just to wrap it up, be consistent in all areas, and the eBay gods will reward you.
Yeah, Brian, you talked a little bit about going in and fixing some of your listings. I know Andy did a great video the other day on his channel. If you aren't subscribed to him, go subscribe to him, about finding your listings and seeing if they're having views. And you did a review of my eBay store, and you gave me like 5 or 6 tips. And one of them was going back and fixing listings. So I started that, and I went back and I was going through a couple of them. And even one of them, I had the wrong color. One was purple and was supposed to be blue. You know, it was just stupid stuff like that throws off your whole eBay listings. And if you guys are subscribed to Dr. Denham, go subscribe to him, because he did the review of my store, all the things that I was doing wrong, and some of the things I was doing right. But
which is everything.
Which was everything.
Right.
There was a lot in there, right, guys? But definitely spot on all of it. All the things that I could improve on, and that's what we're all doing. We're learning, and I'm learning from you guys. And then Brian helped me with doing a review of my channel, or my store, my eBay store. So thanks for that.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point of this group. We help each other, and we try to take our areas that we know a little bit of something about, and we want to share it with our listeners, our viewers. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to our podcast, you can find us on Spotify and other places. It's Reseller Roundtable. Please subscribe.
Nice plug.
Don't forget the Discord.
Discord, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so Discord's awesome as well. If you ever have a chance to get on there, you make sure you post like finds. We have different sections for what you're finding, what's sold. Like there's going to be a lot more added to it as we grow. So make sure you're joining that and participating in it. And
for being so small, we've had some great numbers on Spotify. So
yes,
definitely go check us out on there, and we will love to see you on there. And any comments you have, definitely.
I can't wait for iTunes. Any update on the iTunes?
Yeah, so we got approved. I'm just waiting for the response back of saying I can now upload. So the part of waiting is over. It's just they are very picky about how you upload with the account. So yeah. So we're almost there. So it's going to take, most of this stuff is done, as they say, well before a podcast is ever in motion. And I didn't realize that until after we started really digging into this, but it's been an adventure. Let's just say that.
Hey, listen, I'm just happy we're finally sticking to it. I know a year ago we tried doing this, and it just we're so busy, but now we're consistent. So that's like you said, Brian, right? Consistency. So the more consistent we're doing, the more we're uploading consistently the same day, at the same time.
Yep.
Alton. We're gonna have people. They're gonna expect those to drop. You know what I mean? It's just like YouTube. It feeds the algorithm.
Steady wins the race.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit about this, but people are looking for another source of income. Yep. And eBay is definitely a second source of income. If you're looking to make a little bit extra money for Christmas, there's definitely ways that you could use eBay to definitely add to your bank account. So
Not just that. I mean, people are losing their job, or people want financial freedom. You know what I mean? That's big right now. Financial freedom, again, away from the man, the 9 to 5, and this is good. What's going to give it to you? But it's not going to be a 40-hour a week job. For me and Brian, I think we're at 60 to 80 hours a week at least, between accepting offers during the day or even sourcing. This is not a 40-hour a week job. If you want a 40-hour a week job, we prefer you probably should be better off doing that. If you want a real job where you can make good money, I had my best week last week at $3,500. And then I finally hit 10K, which is huge for me. I've been trying to hit 10K now for like a year. So I finally hit 10K, and everything's just starting to click together because there's a combination of, I think, taking the background out, making all my backgrounds for my photos white by using Photo Room. And then also similar, my oldest items has definitely brought me through the roof with my sales. So I normally average about $2,000 to $2,200, but last week for some reason I hit $3,500, and that's not by mistake. I think the algorithm is starting to help me out more because I'm consistently listing that same number every single day. And then I'm also tweaking my old listings. I'm taking the background out of my new listings for an all white background because it helps the Google algorithm. But other than that, man, I have no clue. I mean, it's been amazing.
Yeah, that's. I think just to kind of piggyback real quick on what Kevin's saying, I think that's the beauty of eBay or reselling in general, that you can work whatever hours you want to work, and you could set your goals for what you want to achieve, and you can work as many or as few hours as you want to, but you just have to be realistic about, like if your goal is to make $10,000 a month, you're probably not going to do that 10 hours a week unless you have access to gold bars or iPhones. But in our case, we're looking for a lot more hours than that.
Yeah, and I think it's not just it's work. This is fun work. Yeah, we hate listing, but we like collecting that money when we're sleeping. So, I mean, I'm used to a commission background or a sales background where it's based upon my work at, how much I work or how hard I work and how many people I talk to in a day. And it definitely relates really well to selling on eBay.
You know what, Kevin, real quick? The funny thing is I used to hate listing, and I think there might be something wrong with me because I now actually like to list. It's kind of weird. Like once and Kevin, you talked a lot about this, the sell similar hack. Once you start getting a lot of good listings in your store and you're selling similar off your perfect or your really good listings, you don't have to change a whole lot. You change the pictures, you adjust the title, the item specifics, and you could crank those out real quickly.
Right.
And once you have the mindset of that listing is going to turn into money, then you kind of view it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But listing, it's funny, like a lot of YouTube community, like listing's horrible, but it doesn't really have to be.
It's
no,
like money.
It's a rhythm. What we do with this is like anything else you do. It's a rhythm, right? How many times do you answer a phone a day when you're at your work job? It becomes rhythm. It becomes repetition. It's the same thing with selling on eBay or even other platforms. Repetition and rhythm. The more you get into that rhythm, the more you can sit down. I'm going to be here for 4 hours. I'm going to list these items. I may not want to list them, but I don't care. I'm going to collect that money because as I'm listing, I'm going to start. All my listings are going to go higher up in the search ranking. That's at least how I think it happens. But I mean, to give you instance, I have one of my fastest sales today. That Ben Hogan iron set I was telling you guys I picked up for $5, refinished and polished them, and sold them for $190 in 10 minutes. Not even 10 minutes. It was insane, and that was big profit.
Perfect. I think definitely all good points, and we definitely have a lot to talk about tonight, so I'd like to move this on along. Andy, you're up next.
Yep. I think one of the main issues that new people, well, really sellers in general, is that their keyword research is not good and their titles aren't good. One when I go out and source, I'm actually planning my titles as I pick things out, and I pick my items specifically based on what keywords I can find in the search suggestions on the eBay website, because that's what people are searching for.
Mhm.
When they search, they're typing a few keywords or a few keystrokes, and then they're clicking something in that drop down menu. So if you can create a title that matches what's in the drop down menu, the search algorithm is about relevance, and that's going to make your title relevant, and that's going to push you up in the listings
Mhm.
to where people
So-
can find your stuff.
So eBay is sort of like Google, where you start typing in something and it'll try to figure out what you're trying to say, right? And then you
Yep.
would drop down and then try to figure out what matches best for that category, whatever category you're listing in. Would you like to go into more detail about that?
Yeah. One other thing I wanted to mention is if you're sourcing things that don't show up in those little drop down menus, it's going to sit for a long, long time, and you're not going to sell it. So, and Alton was talking about that a little earlier, where when you're outsourced, you got to kind of pre-source and have an idea of what you're going to look for.
Mhm.
And when I go out and source, I live in Cincinnati, so it's shoot the loop around I-275, and I just hit every thrift store that I can find, and I'm looking for 10 or 15 different brands that I sell routinely, and then that fits in with what Brian was talking about, where you're just using sell similar and changing a few things and putting new pictures in, and it's really easy to do 15, 20, even 30 listings in a day that way.
So you're brand new, you're outsourcing, and you find something that you run across something that you haven't seen before or heard before, and you go to look it up on the eBay app, right? And you don't see it in there. And,
No matter how cool you think it is,
yeah,
if
no matter
are-
how cool it is,
if-
you go in and search for it, and you can't find it.
don't source it.
I think the way to look at that is you got to leave your emotions out of it when you're sourcing for your business. You got to leave your emotions out of it. You got to let the devil's in the details, as they always say. And if it's not there showing solds and anything else, walk away. Like it's just not in your cards. Now, if you're wanting it for you, it's a little different.
Right.
And it's very brand driven for the most part. There are some things that you can do with just the general keywords that are attached to it, but it's very brand specific. And Brian talks about that a lot, where you lead with the brand and then kind of the description and the size, so that people on the mobile app get all of that in that little narrow phone screen. The really pertinent information, if they want a large and you've got large at the very end of your title, they're not going to see it, and they're probably not going to click on your listing from a mobile. So that's something to think about too. But I guess to sum up, my main thing would be and this is the way I learned what to source, is I was constantly on my phone in a thrift store. This looks really cool. Let me check and see if it's selling. And even sell-through rates, people used to talk a lot about sell-through rates, and I think that if you're sourcing things that show up in the drop-down menu, there's going to be enough interest and enough demand for it that it's going to sell. But it's just a matter of getting the relevant information, and also knowing the terminology for your niche. Like here in clothing, know what a gingham shirt looks like, know what tattersall is, know what wool looks like, know what cashmere's like. And when you have all of that language, then you can type those different words into the search bar and find the keyword phrases that are going to attract the people that are interested in the item that you have.
Now, like I said, I've been looking stuff up at the bins all the time because I'm not familiar with the brand or unless I run across Nike and Under Armour and all that good stuff. But like Kevin and Brian, they go out all the time and they just know when they pick it up, right? Kevin, when you go in, you know already what you're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to the point. Actually, I've been like this for a long time, where I can just go into any section and I'll make money, only because I've been doing this for like ever. And I know every single just about every single niche there is to know. So I know exactly what I'm looking for, and within a couple keywords, if I'm having trouble with it, I know if it's nice buy or not. But the majority of the part, if you see something and it looks different and it feels different and it doesn't look like it's new or anything, it's going to be something vintage and worthwhile. I mean, but it takes experience and a long, long time of I call it useless knowledge of learning. But my main thing is, like I told you guys a few weeks back, is I've gotten to the point where, like, if I say I'm doing blazers, I can just go right down every aisle and without even looking, just feel it with my fingers and tell if it's cashmere, camel hair, wool, silk, and whatever other fabrics there is. And that's just repetition. Again, repetition, right. and probably selling over 1,000 pieces of blazers, and other things too, dress shirts. It doesn't matter. But it's just, I don't know. It takes a really good skill level, but anybody can do this skill. It's something that's just not like, like basketball players. Sometimes they pick up a basketball and they're just great. It's not like that. You kind of build it up within yourself the more you do this.
So Kevin, I was just going to say, do you, I look with blazers, I look for houndstooth, herringbone, and window panes. And if you pull those out more often than not, it's a more desirable brand than just.
Don't get me wrong. I picked up an Ed McMahon one. There's no other Ed McMahons out there. And I sold it last week for $45 just because the pattern. But then again, if you can come in contact with any blazer for $45, even if it's Joseph A. Banks, Brooks Brothers, you could still make $25 off it. Like my range from blazers and sport jackets, not even talking about suits. I'm just talking about regular men's, not women's. Women's is saturated, men's. I can pick up any blazer, even a non-brand, which I sell consistently non-brand ones. That's why I understand using brand first on titles works, but sometimes even if it's a brand that doesn't do too well, I skip out the brand in the title, and I just go off with some really good keywords. I find different colored, like bright colors, like reds, greens. They tend to do pretty well, especially if you pick up like a Masters green golfing blazer. Any Masters green golf blazer you'll sell for $30-$35, as long as you use the keywords Masters green, because people are looking for Masters jackets, which is the jackets they give you when you win the Masters tournaments, golf tournament in Augusta, Georgia.
Right.
So, Andy, any other tips before we go on to the next topic? Anything you want to cover before we go on to the next person?
It's not really keyword related, but when you're first starting out, if you want to get your shipping policy straight, you want to, because eBay's going to tell you to do free shipping. And if you do free shipping, you're going to take a bath and it's going to cut into your margins. So I'll give you my, I buy 10 by 13 poly mailers, and you get them for about 5 to 7 cents a piece. If the item weighs under a pound, I ship it first class, and I do a flat rate of $6.75.
Now
that gives you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, eBay gives you up to 16 ounces on first class, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
but if you go to the store retail, it's only 15 ounces, so they do give you an extra ounce.
So you got to know the tips and tricks, and that's one of the tips. But we should do a whole episode on just shipping. Because it's a whole episode.
You don't want the viewers to fall asleep.
Yeah, that's true too. Right?
Because shipping can be boring. Talking about shipping,
it really can be.
But it's self-explanatory, really. It
is, but it was the hardest thing to learn in the beginning for me.
It always is.
It's when you're shipping out. I would ship stuff out in a regional A, and I could fit it into a poly bag, so it's and using the different tricks with pirate ship and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
But if it's
especially
over,
international shipping.
if it's over a pound, you can usually fit it in a padded flat rate envelope, and I do those at a flat rate of $8.99, and those rates give you room because eBay's going to take a cut of your shipping costs and fees. So if you're charging exactly what it costs you, you're kind of subsidizing the customer, and that'll eat into your profits. And if you got tight margins, that makes a big difference. And those are free, so you don't have to. They'll ship them right to your house for free. The padded envelopes.
Yeah, and for me, I can get a blazer in a pad envelope. And I've been raising my shipping rates from $7.99 before they went up to $8.49, the padded flat rates, through eBay. I've raised them up to $9.99, sometimes $10.99 now, and I still have no problem people buying them. Because then when you look at your competition, most people are sending them out for $12 to $15, and I'm like, that's insane. So they're still getting a discount, a little bit of a discount for me, and I'm making some money on the back end too.
Right.
Oh, I think we lost Brian.
Yeah, we lost
Yeah,
Brian.
for a second.
We'll bring it back in here.
He'll be back.
All right. What's our next topic?
Well, I guess it's me. I'm going to share my screen, and it's kind of going to piggyback between Andy and what he was saying with doing certain keyword search results, right? So when
I think I put your screen up.
Yeah, you got it up here. So
okay.
The idea behind it is, so everyone knows now that I do a lot with Funko Pops, right? So I started with the keyword Funko, but as I start typing, y'all see how like the letters and stuff are bold, right? So it gives you what's the most searched. So usually the first couple are going to be what you've searched. But if you look, the top rated Funko Pop search is either buying them in lots. So that might be a good option for you to put a bundle of something together. But also Star Wars, Marvel, and anything Chase. That's your top 3 after that. So when I look for stuff, like if I see Star Wars when I'm buying them, it's a no-brainer. Just because I already know it's going to be in the top search results for Funko Pops and collectibles. But my thing is, remember guys, when I told y'all I sold the Soul Eater Funko Pop?
Yeah, the expensive one.
Yeah, I sold it for $75. Well, what I forgot to tell y'all is that they failed to pay after, but I relisted it once I got the amount of time away. I relisted it. I sold it within an hour of relisting it for the full price of $85 that I was originally asking. So I'll show it to you right here. We're going to pull this up. So we do a basic search, right? If we scroll down, you don't see, this is where if you're searching for this Funko Pop, you're going to see everything in the Soul Eater line of Funko Pops. Now, if I click over here this is the very key one. If you're looking at what to actually sell them for, of course, guys, we all know this, right? With the sold and completed listings, it's completely different. Now, y'all see that this is all over the place. These Soul Pops from this Funko line are expensive. Now, if we scroll on down here, I'll show it to you. You'll get to see my wonderful listing that's a part of this. I call it the pool of things being sold. If I can get down to it. Here's mine right here. $85. I got full price. And it actually shipped out for the very minimum on the shipping. Now, one thing I didn't pay attention to, and this is a mistake that Andy just pointed out, I only charged $5.10 on shipping. It would have been better for me to charge $5.99 for shipping, and then I would have covered my cost of my box. So I lost out on my box and packing material costs. But that's something that you learn over time. And when he mentioned that, I realized, maybe this is something we can do. So I think when you're searching for something like when Brian said Levi men's jeans, right? Like if we do the same thing, it keeps populating the best search results. I've never looked on here for Levi men's jeans because there's nothing in recent search. So by doing that, let's say men's 32X is the 32 is the size. 3230 seems to be one of the most popular sizes, right? Well, again, if I scroll down, the easiest thing is checking, make sure what's on solds. So if that's not checked, you're doing yourself a big disservice. Make sure when you're searching on mobile, every single search resets back to it being what's listed for you to purchase, and it will not show you what's sold. So you have to do that. Be consistent about that of checking your sold. So that's my biggest one. I thought for the longest time when I changed the search result that it kept the sold when I was searching for something on mobile, and it does not. Now on web paging, it does. So that's a big thing to know is when you're searching in solds, you can leave this on and it will only search solds. But on mobile, we're out in the field sourcing. Make sure you're manually doing that. So that's a big one for me to make sure everyone knows that you have to manually do that every time. So, yeah, fun stuff.
Thank you, Alton.
Absolutely.
Now, do you go in daily and go look for Funko Pops on what's sold, or are you just looking ones that you pick up?
So what I'd normally do is I give it about, it's a little different with the Funko market because they do what they call the pop price guide, or you'll hear it just says PPG.
Mm-hmm.
So that only updates roughly about 30 days. So if you're only looking on eBay for sold, and let's say you're trying to get an idea, say every couple weeks, you'll be fine to kind of see what's progressing in trend. I don't think it's something like that you have to look on every day, but I highly suggest getting to know it as an option.
Perfect.
Moore says he has the option to lock the search on his only solds on his phone. So,
I've heard people that done that, and
I've tried on my phone, and if Moore can tell me how to get it to stay on my dumb iPhone, I would be happy, because that's one thing that I noticed from the very beginning. I was like, it just annoyed the crap out of me. So
I can't get mine to work either. So
hey, at least I'm not in the same boat. Like, that's the thing. So
definitely.
Yeah, there we go.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things I noticed in the chat, we had a viewer talking about books, and I think Brian addressed that pretty well. Books is something that's great to source, but it does take up a lot of room, and they're very heavy. So you have to look at rankings. And for me, I mean, Brian has sold quite a few on eBay, I'm sure, and he can probably tell you on that end, but I think Amazon to me is the best way to see ranking and see what would sell. Because there's really no ranking system on eBay, period. So I might be completely wrong based on search result, but I don't do too many books on eBay. I mainly do them on Amazon.
I've sold books on
some rare books. Like,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, from everything I've heard, Amazon is better to do books en masse. But if you have some rare books, like I've sold some old Bibles and things that I've sells for good money on eBay, but
Can you hear us?
I think we lost Brian again.
Yeah, he's having a little trouble with his T-Mobile this week.
I'll mark down the time code on this one so I can edit that out.
Just get rid of that.
Yeah. So let's mention again, guys. We got the podcast going on Spotify. We're approved, but just waiting for the final get-go on the iTunes.
Yep.
And then we're also on a couple other podcast channels. But I will put the podcast channel in the link in here, and then we'll also put it in the description. We're really trying to get that going over there. We got some good traction in the last week. So, but okay, Brian, you bet. I think he's still frozen.
I feel like I should screen grab the picture, the image of Brian right now, and we should make a meme out of it. Like,
yeah, we probably could.
Like,
what you looking at?
What you looking at, Willis? Like,
that's and also go back and listen to the past episodes, because we cover a bunch of different topics in each one of them. So
yeah, I think my favorite episode so far is the one we did with Brian. I think it was last week, where we touched on the eBay rankings, because I've been really using that tool since we talked about it, and I feel like that's a tool that's probably the most underrated tool that anybody can have on eBay right now, and I don't think anybody's using it. So I mean, you know exactly where you rank for each niche and on eBay, and you can kind of niche down that way and figure out like, hey, maybe I should put more of my money towards this because it's going to help me in the long run with my search versus other people in this category.
I think my favorite episode is episode 2, where Brian was explaining how to source from eBay and looking for souls all around. I think that was my favorite one. So
yeah,
I think we all have our own little favorites, but definitely go back to episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and go listen to those on Spotify.
Yep. And I'm going to put the link right now on the YouTube channel, on the YouTube right here.
Yep.
Thank you,
And
Kevin.
you guys can click on that.
Yeah,
There
can
you
find
go.
us on Spotify, Google Cast right now, and hopefully by Monday you will be able to tell you by the next podcast it'll be on Apple Podcasts as well. So
That'd be awesome.
That'll be awesome. Hopefully we can see a lot more traffic. It's just nice to be able to know that even though all the other little platforms, Spotify is still like the bread and butter of where people are listening. So that's kind of cool to see. So
Lisa wants to know if Brian paid his bill, so that's he got brand new service, so I think he paid it. And also, if you guys have any questions in the chat, let us know if we're going over something that you didn't understand, or if you want us to go over again. We can definitely go back to that. So.
Oh wow! Mike says he just sold a VHS tape. I thought it was one of the VCRs that's in his store video. I've been watching his store videos a lot lately, and I know he had one that was new in box, a VCR. But he said he sold a VHS tape for $350. He's got to let us know what the tape was.
Exactly. I want to see what this was and how this was, and
a lot of
where we can find this.
Movies, a lot of old horror movies only came out on VHS and never went to DVD. And wrestling, old like NWA wrestling and WWF from the early 80s. That stuff's, if you find it, it's going to be on VHS and it sells for sick money.
Well,
that's crazy.
That's like the video game market. If you can find certain ones, there's certain PS1 games, there's certain PS2 games, there's that PS4 game that I sold for $230. Yeah.
What was that? Godzilla, right?
Godzilla, yeah. Look for Godzilla on PS4 . So anytime
didn't you get the chance to play that one too before you sold it?
I did. I loved it. It was so much fun. It sold too quickly.
I just sold today. I'm finally getting around to selling all the Wii video games from that one storage unit buyout. We Play Sports. I sold that within like 3 hours for $25. I had it for 34, but I took the best offer of 24. Yep. So I mean, that's not newer. I mean, Wii's like 15 years old, but that was a good little sale.
Heck yeah, man!
And then I also sold the Beatle rock band, but it's not paid for yet. So that's another $250. You know. So
complete. Is it a complete set?
The complete set, yes.
Yeah, that's nice.
So that'll be next week sold.
Yep.
That kind of brings up. I was going to say, don't get married to your inventory to the point where you're trying to squeeze every last dime out of it. I think most of us here are churn and burn people, or we try to just keep churning our money. If you can roll $1 through your business 3 or 4 times a month, as opposed to having it tied up for a year, you're going to make more money in the long run by cycling that money through over and over.
I think there's a caveat to that. I think there is a caveat.
Yeah.
So like me and Kevin have had this conversation about tanking a market. I think there's a acceptable amount of give as a best offer, but I don't think that it should reflect your listing price as much as it is your accepting of a best offer price. So I think that's the big distinction there, that I don't want people to think, oh, well, I should sell it for, if it's $100 item and you get it for $10, maybe I should list it for $50. No, that's not what we're saying.
No.
We're saying list it competitively. And then when someone offers you that $50 or $60 mark, if you're willing to let it roll, but don't affect the listing market to affect that. So
price on the high end, and then that'll give you room. That'll give you room to take those offers.
Absolutely.
And it'll also signal to your market that you understand the pricing in your market. You'll get less lowball offers, and you'll make higher amount of money. And there's 2 different kinds of inventory. There's quick inventory, and then there's long tail inventory. If you've got long tail inventory, let's say you've got it listed for 100 and it sells 3 times a year, and you get that person that offers you 50, you're going to want to decide, do I want to wait another 3 or 4 months for the next offer to come in, or do I want to take my take a smaller amount of profit and then, reinvest that money, onto something else?
Yeah.
Right.
So what I always do whenever I get in niches, and when I got into golf the start of the year, from being on the Mike Flipping Goodies channel, and with Casey from Carolina Flipper, at some I right away got into it. And what I promised myself was, I'm going to spend $20 and then I'm going to keep doubling it. Whatever I buy, I'm going to keep putting it back into selling golf clubs and stuff. Now to the point where I don't have to do that. Now it just goes right back into business. But that's how you kind of learn. You have a little money to play with. You learn from it. And then if it's working out for you, then you just start buying a bunch of bulk stuff. So, I mean, that worked out really well for me. There's some that don't work out. So that's how you can learn, not quickly, but that's how you can learn over the long haul.
Right.
Also, Mike said that was a Romance in the Stone. I believe that was Kirk Douglas.
Yeah.
And what was the other one?
It had Danny DeVito in it.
No.
Yeah, but the woman was not Farrah Fawcett. Who was that other? Not Susan Summers. I'm trying to remember. Anyways, he said he sold that overseas sealed. That's insane.
Oh, nice.
Good for him.
Good for him is right.
Yeah.
And then when even if you get low ball offers, always counter with something that you want to come in with and are comfortable with reselling. Sometimes they're only going to make the one offer, but at least you tried and you can live to fight another day. So
you don't want the eBay algorithm to think that you don't want to play ball. Like I think that's the worst thing you could do is to decline an offer. Never decline an offer. Either accept or counter. And the other thing I would say is don't you have to view this as a business and not get emotional. Like when you get low ball offers, the way you should look at it, and this is the way I look at it. Well, thank you. Even if it's a low ball offer, I'm just going to counter, and we could go all day long because guess what? That's showing eBay that this listing has some attention, that there's people interested in it, and that low ball offer is actually going to convert your listing into a sale by someone else. So if you can shift your mindset and just be happy that you're getting any offers and not get emotional about it, it'll work in your favor.
Any offer is a sales signal. I spent some time selling cars, and they talk about looking for sales signals in the way people talk, the way people look at things. So if somebody's making an offer on your stuff, they're not just out there, I think let me aggravate this person by offering them $5 on their $50 item. They want that item. A lot of times they just want to see how much of a deal can I get.
Right.
And I have them a lot where they'll lowball me. I'll counter, and then they'll come in below what I countered, and I'll get to the point where this is the bottom line. And I'll send them a message and say, $25 on this item is a great deal for you, and I'm not going to drop any further below that. And then shame it sells. So it's know your market, know what the prices are, and then just. It's like an old Queen song. Play the game.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andy.
I must be dumb, but more in what's it called? Whose else was it that was talking about lockable filters?
I actually just found it. Yeah,
I have no clue. I found it says lockable filter, but how do I just go like? I don't know how to use it. I'm on there.
So when I went to my filter, I can kind of do this. Scroll at the very bottom for the customize.
Yeah, and then you say click the lockable filter.
Yeah, so that part. So you go back up. Now you should see the locks on when the completed and the sold items. So that's what I was messing up, where I never saw that option.
I didn't see that option either.
And once you tap the lock, it'll light up blue or whatever indicator to show it active, and it works. So I really appreciate more for showing that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to show me after this because I can't do it. It's just not working for me.
Yeah. So,
did you guys want to get into our sale of the week and our numbers?
Yep, exactly. Who wants to go first?
I'll share mine real quick because mine's a small one, but Y'all remember I bought hats, and this was the first sale out of that lot of 33 vintage hats. Let me pull it up real quick. And I told everybody, I said, I'm going to list some of these that are more generic for $12.99 plus shipping. Well, I sold the first one literally at $12.99. That come out pretty good. What do y'all think about the photo room pictures? That turned out right here.
Room's awesome.
Look at this.
I'm telling you, dude,
Look at
photo
that.
room is a game changer.
Look at this.
Did you add a?
There's one issue I had on this hat, and I disclosed it in the description, right? And they were so happy to get it because guess what? Look at that. It's a German Orioles basketball club, but it's still an Orioles hat, so they could still wear it to an Orioles game. So, yeah, I love this. Look at that. I mean, for a vintage hat, this is clean. So,
it's
a great ROI. It was $2.57 in, and we turned it over. So it was a $10 profit roughly. So not too bad.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what are your let's go over your numbers. What were your numbers for the week?
Yeah, okay. So that is my father's account, and I in good faith, because he didn't agree to it, I won't show those, but I think for the week we were at $200 and something in sales this week. So
good job.
Good
job. And again, you do this part-time. So
yeah, part-time. This is something just to kind of help him learn through as retirement. So again, we all have different phases of what we want out of this. And I do it because it's a passion of mine. You know, I know Brian wants to do it because he wants to full-time. I do other things that make my passions for full-time, like IT work. So this is something I get to come home, spend time with my father when he's available, and have that quality time and teach him something for once. I got tired of learning about cars and how to rebuild motors, and so now it's my turn to teach him something, right? So
very nice.
And I think it's nice to be able to use it as a growing opportunity or a bond improving. You know, like we didn't have that for the longest time. Now we got something we can talk about.
Exactly.
So it's just how you look at it. You know, I'll take a $10 profit and 20 minutes of spending time with him over $100 profit by myself. So
man,
it's all
those are memories.
Exactly, it's
memories, dude.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay. Brian?
Okay. Yeah, let me share my screen.
Okay. You come up? No. Yeah.
We're going to have Scott to be a professional at the screen share business.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever. Leave me alone. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'm not a professional eBayer. I'm just here for fun.
That's the best part, man.
That's sweet, Brian.
All right.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, this is one of the better sells I've had lately. I don't know if he's in the chat, Greg, Rocky Mountain Reseller. He actually sourced this for me. This is a leather, I don't know, biker Native American jacket. And by the way, I'm doing daily what sold videos, and you can actually find more information about this and other items that sell for me daily on my YouTube channel, Dr. Denim. So if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. But anyway, this jacket right here, I think I paid $20 for it. It's a real heavy jacket. It's got this cool Native American motif, and you could see that rich brown leather right there. It's got the fringes with a full zip. When you get to the when you look on the inside lining, you got the thinsulate, which is always a good sign. It's genuine leather. And on the back, you got this cool American eagle. So you'd look really cool riding on your Harley, down the blacktop with this bad boy. And it sold for $351 plus shipping. Now, the only downside is I only charge $8.99 shipping, and it cost me $20. I screwed up on the shipping, but I guess I'll live with that. And obviously, this time of year, it's November. Jackets, sweaters, ugly Christmas sweaters, all that good stuff. Ski pants, get all that stuff listed if you have it. And I guess I'll transition because Kevin, I know, was asking about numbers. You might have me on the 7-day total, Kevin, for what I'm hearing. My 7-day totals at 32.43 and change. I'm down about 4%.
I'm up 15%.
The one thing real quick on what happened with me is when I joined Tech and Chris's group, like I went full growth mode too quick. I hired VAs. At that point, I was not a master like Kevin and Andy are in clothing at that point. And when you turn your listings over to third parties, whether it's Hammock, Sellhound, even if you hire your own VA or VAs like I did, they're going to mess up your listings if you're not an expert. Because if you're an expert, then you can train them how to create really good listings. Like now I'd feel good about training, but back then I didn't. So anyway, I was listing 50 a day with a VA for a long time, and then I got rid of her, I don't know, about 3 months ago. And then I put all that work on me, and I'm learning to be a true expert in the field. And so I'm building up my listings. But Kevin, that's really your sales increases are very impressive.
It's a lot to do with items that are over $50, man. I haven't. It's finally kicked in. Like I felt like around this time last year, it's when it kicked in too. But I also had more selective inventory back then. Now, as you know, I'm full time. I have to have less selective. I have to have items that are like more bread and butter. I would say $18, $19 and up, whereas last year I was more about $25 to $30 and up. But since I've done it, I've been able to gross more and sell more. I think for the last month, I've sold 270 items, which is about a 20% increase. And then I'm already at like 50 sales for the week. So that's insane. But my numbers are $3,500 for the last 7 days.
Hold on.
And
you're going to share your cell first?
I can't. I'm not scared. I don't have that one up.
Oh, okay.
I'll just tell you because I'm looking at my phone.
Okay. and you give me shit about computers.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it between y'all two no more.
So it's $3,500 over the last 7 days. I've never been over 2,500 in 7 days. So I don't know what happened. Like I said, all of a sudden this week happened. It's been insane. 3,500. I broke 3. Which is a huge goal for me. And then I went almost straight to 3,500 in a day. And then I finally hit 10K for a month. That was my biggest goal, was hitting 10K in a month, because once I start hitting 10K, I feel like they'll start giving me 11 and 12K. So it says I'm up 15% from last year. So that is great. If I'm up 15% this year, hopefully next year I'll be up 15 to 20% next year. Again, this is like a mutual fund. It's a slow grow. And as long as you're seeing those numbers, it's only going to go up from there. Right. And then my 2 best sales, let me screen share those. Hold on a second. Let me know when you got it.
Hold on.
Oh, now he wants to screen share.
I know, right? He can do his numbers, but he can do that.
I'm
he
sorry.
Can do that way.
You got it?
Yep, you're up.
Okay. So this I bought at that yard sale, this same yard sale that I'm going to show you my next sale at. So I spent $50 on a whole bag full of clubs. The bag alone is probably worth $60, $70. And then I got I got a set and then 10 other single items that I'm selling. So I have this that I paid $20 for. I sold for 120. And then this one sold within 5 minutes tonight for, it says 252, but I took the best offer of 190. And I just refinished these last night. So what I did was I grinded them down. You can see down here, it still has some of the little nicks in it at the bottom, but they were a lot worse than this. So I grinded them down. I repainted the bottoms. I polished them up and they look beautiful. I originally was going to list these things for like $100 until I was actually doing research on them, and they're forged. They're the Ben Hogan Apex 3, and they're forged. And so it's not a soft steel; it's a hard steel. So that's why it's a little harder for me to grind them down with my deburring tool. So I mean, probably about an hour and a half worth of work in this. And I have about $5 into this whole set. When you break up, I paid $50 for the whole bag and then like 10 other club singles. And I sold this for $190, right? So I mean, I can't go wrong on this. But yeah, that's definitely my sale of the week. And yeah, who's next? Andy, right?
Andy is, yep.
There you go. Let's go. You got this, Andy.
The share share screen. Entire screen. All right. I'm there.
You're up.
Okay. So I've got two. I sourced this and listed it, and it sold within like 8 hours. It says $89.95. I signed an offer of $44.95. It was new with tags. Look out for Ralph Lauren stuff that has that polo bear on it. When you find it, it was like pulling a $50 bill off the rack at Plato's Closet. And then this one too sold in a day's time. It's a cashmere houndstooth Hart Schaffner Marks. I had it listed at $79.95, and I sent an offer at $47.95, which was where a similar one had sold. And
can I give you a quick tip, Andy?
Sure.
Great. I love your presentation. Nothing wrong with it. The only issue is Loro Piana is a lot more desirable than Hart Schaffner Marks. What you should have done was Loro Piana and then Hart Schaffner Marks, and you would have got about 100, 120 for it. Where you see how you kind of have Loro Piana after the 48. Whenever you and show them the label where it says Loro Piana. This is a Bolo brand,
and you'll find it on a lot of different.
Right there. See, whenever you see this weird writing right here, ING Loro Piana, that is highly desirable. That's way more desirable than a Hart Schaffner Marks. If that Hart Schaffner, I can guarantee you right now, if that Hart Schaffner Marks did not have that label on there, this would be $30-$40, if that. And it would sit all day long. Like I have Hart Schaffner Marks that came and get rid of for $30-$35. I have to go down to 25 on. The market on Hart Schaffner Marks in the last 6 years has tanked. But the reason why he got so much is because of that label right there, ING Loro Piana.
Yep, that's a great brand. I found a Loro Piana polo sweater that was cashmere.
Oh, would you sell for a couple hundred?
I got like 150 for it, and it was pilled. I didn't have a sweater shaver, but I picked it up and I was like, this thing cost $800 or $900 when it was new.
Probably $1,100. Those are way more desirable than blazers. Blazers, because there's so many Loro Pianas out there, it's very hard to find a cashmere Loro Piana jacket or a cashmere Loro Piana pullover sweater.
Yep,
that's why they go for more money.
This was like 6 or 7 years ago, and it had pilling all over it. It wasn't in the greatest shape. If I'd have shaved it with a sweater shaver, maybe I'd have got more, but I paid $5 for it at Goodwill.
Yeah.
And it sold for like 150. I did a 99-cent auction on it.
Yeah.
And it went crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
That's
I
awesome.
love that brand. That, Canali, Zegna. Those are good brands.
And
you've done good the last 7 days. 1,400, man. Wow.
I'm up 38% over the last month. Flirting with 6,000 a month. Or last year or so, I've maybe done 3,000 or 4,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are pushing me to list more, and especially Brian to be more accountable to myself.
Who's the one that taught Brian to be accountable to stop with the YouTube?
And Kevin, you've always pushed me.
I just want everybody to be happy. I was on a phone call today with eBay to be an eBay ambassador, and she was telling me, I said, well, she's like, telling me about the community. I said, we push each other. It's not competition because we all live in different areas. And I said, even if we live in the same area, there's times I go, people that I know that go out with, and there's no competition there. We all have fun. It's all about love in this community.
Absolutely. I know we were talking about that earlier, where I even said eventually I'm going to take a flight out to Cali, and me and Scott are going to have like an inventory sourcing weekend. But the problem is I'm about to ship all of that right back to North Carolina. So
yeah,
come on out.
But
come on out to Cali.
It would be interesting though to see like cost of goods, and then even with shipping, what does the bottom dollar still work out to be, and you get that experience. So I think a lot of people forget that with the community, that it's you're also making friends along the way and getting that experience that you wouldn't get anywhere else. So I think that's what sets us apart. So
yeah, and each one of us have our own niches. So like, I mean, again, I know about everything, but there's some things like I asked Brian last week about a certain pair of Levi jeans. So I'm always looking to learn. I think we all are looking to learn. It's the people that say that they don't need to learn anymore because they know everything. Those are the people that still need to learn. I'm always learning. I've been doing this for over 20 years. So
yeah, don't brag at all.
It's like
I'm not.
I'm just thinking.
It's like Sam Elliott and Roadhouse. When you stop learning, it's time to call it go to your grave.
Yeah, man,
So
we're always learning.
This is my sale of the week. I did an auction on these video games just to see what they'd end up at. I probably would have got like 120, 110, 120 with the games that are in here. The Wii games have gone down in value, but I had like Mario Kart for Wii and Mario Party and stuff in there, and Wii Sports Resort. So,
well,
anyways,
you should have done a little critique here. I hate to do this to you, Scott, but this is how anal I am, and I'm just trying to help you out. That Wii Resort Sport should have been taken out of that lot and sold.
It should have been, exactly. And I have another copy of that. I'm going to sell that separately, and I'll show you that sale next week because I'm sure I just put it up today and I added it. I added it in there. So yeah, I probably lost a little bit of money on this, but it did ship out media mail. And
how many bids was that? How many bids were on that total?
It was only 6. I started at 60.
Yeah.
Oh, 5.
Okay.
Yeah, and I started at 60 and then went from there. So
now, how much was the cost? How much did you have into them?
$3.
Oh man, you can't go wrong.
No, I couldn't go wrong at all.
Capital.
So.
That's all about more capital, man.
Heck yeah!
I mean, look at your numbers.
Yeah, my numbers have gone down. I'm waiting for that $250 sale to come through, but a little bit down for the month. I'm usually at about 1,000 for every 7 days, so I'm down a couple $150. But my 90-day total is almost at 9,000.
Yeah, so, dude, you're up 23% in the last 31 days, man. That's
exactly,
huge.
and it's all like you said, all thanks to this group, all like Andy was saying, pushing each other to grow, and
it really the podcast. I really think
and I have offers together. And messages here too. So
yeah, I think it's important just that Scott took the time to do an auction because maybe I'm wrong, but I like to think that when Scott does a lot of video games as well, that when people bid on it, they might have missed out on it. But if it's like me, I'll go to that seller and look at what else they have in their inventory, because if I see that they had desirable items or games that I want, it makes me think, oh, they might have something else. So that's why I was asking about how many bids you got, because those other couple bids might result into other sales because they're he finds things that I want to buy. So
selling that Godzilla game, I've had a lot of people ask me if I found have any other ones, if I come across any more of those Godzilla ones too. So it's I know Brian said that eBay wants the repeat buyers, and so that's those are nice when they come back in and buy something from you. So
awesome.
Does anybody know if you can send a coupon to the bidders on your auctions?
I don't know, but the one great thing is
awesome.
I did pay promotion fees. So there was no coupon, there was no promoted listing or anything like that. It was straight auction. So
yeah, I'm just wondering if you I got an email saying that if you send a coupon and an offer for somebody to use in the future, that you get half off of your fees, and that's
Brian,
that would be awesome.
Before I catch Brian in the middle of his sentence again, I think he's muted. So make sure we're unmute. Yeah. Welcome back, Brian.
Oh, all right. New mistake. Yeah. The coupons are only good for buy it now prices. They're not set up for auctions.
Perfect.
All right.
Well, I think that wraps up this episode. Thanks again for everybody that's coming. Go subscribe to everybody. Alton, Addicted to Hustle, Andy and Kevin from Thrifting Rounds, and Brian from Dr. Denim. All are putting out content right now, so definitely go check them out. Also, again, check us out on Spotify. Give us a listen. Let us build that community up. Also, let's see if we can convert some of the YouTubers into podcasters and go and check us out on Spotify and Google Play and hopefully next week iTunes. Go listen
that'd be huge.
Go listen to the past ones. There's lots of great info in all those, and also thanks Alton for all his hard work for putting those up. So
I try to make sure it's concise and kind of more, as they say, put together and more streamlined. So like where we have the banter back and forth, or if we're interacting with the chat, I try to make sure we cut that out if it's not directed toward the topic of the week. So if you're looking more for the info for that topic, that's where you want to go in case you miss it. So it might save you that time or pain of hearing us back and forth. Some people don't like that. So, but yeah.
So thank you guys. We're going to end it here. Have a good night. Next week. And see you. Yeah, same time. Whose channel?
I think it might be.
It's Kevin or Andy, one or the other. So I think we'll make that post.
You're up next.
Yeah, we can do that. That'll be cool.
Okay, Andy's channel. Make sure you subscribe to him. And we'll see you next Thursday this time. Thank you guys.
See y'all.
Awesome. Later.